On this vote, the yeas are 26, the nays are 73. Under the previous order requiring 60 votes for the adoption of this amendment, the amendment is not agreed to.
Mr. President.
Senator from Massachusetts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to vitiate the 60-vote requirement threshold on amendment numbers 1471 and 1483.
Is there objection? Without objection, so ordered.
I'd also ask unanimous consent to have the yeas and nays by voice vote on 1471 and 1483 as well.
Is there objection? If not, so ordered.
Mr. President, further, I want to just briefly set up, before I yield to Senator McCain, 1471, Fannie and Freddie have cost American taxpayers billions of dollars, and this year they paid out exorbitant bonuses to their executives. I want to commend Senator McCain for his work on this very important issue and his leadership, and I encourage everybody to vote yea for it, and I would now yield to Senator McCain.
Senator from Arizona.
Mr. President, I don't have anything more to say.
I can't believe that. That can't be true. Mr. President.
So, on behalf of myself and Senator Rockefeller, I offer this amendment. I yield.
Through you, I was going to ask my friend from Arizona if he was feeling all right.
He looks just fine.
He does.
Is there further debate? If not, the question is on the McCain amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes appear to have it. Ayes do have it.
Mr. President, move to reconsider.
Without objection.
Amendment President.
Senator from Vermont.
Am I correct that Amendment 1483, the Leahy-Cornyn amendment, is next?
Amendment is now pending, sir.
This amendment is supported by the National Taxpayers Union, the FBI Agents Association, the League of Women Voters, and many others, to provide investigators and prosecutors the tools they need to hold officials at all levels of government accountable. I ask consent to put my full statement on the record, but Senator Cornyn and I have worked across the aisle as well as with the other body to craft this amendment.
Mr. President.
Senator from Texas.
Mr. President, I hope our colleagues will support this amendment. Senator Leahy and I have worked on this as an expansion of our Public Corruption and Prosecution Improvements Act, which passed the Judiciary Committee last year. I have a lengthier statement, which I'd ask unanimous consent to be made part of the record.
Without objection. Senator from Connecticut.
I just want to briefly thank the senators from Vermont and Texas for this amendment. It strengthens the bill, as does the preceding amendment offered by Senator McCain, and I urge its adoption.
Question is on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes appear to have it. Ayes do have it. Amendment passes. Without objection. There will now be 2 minutes of debate, equally divided, on the Coburn Amendment. Senator from Oklahoma.
It's a simple bipartisan amendment that we have voted on, the identical amendment, 463 yeas, 33 nays. My colleague, the senator from Colorado, has been gracious enough to support this amendment. This is straightforward. We just need to know what we're doing when we do it. It requires the CRS to show us if we've duplicated anything before a bill comes before the Senate. I yield to my colleague from Colorado.
Mr. President,
Senator from Colorado.
I have a longer statement I'd like to include in the record.
Objection.
Senator Coburn and I don't always agree on the reach of government and the investments we ought to make, but we agree our government ought to be smart, it ought to be efficient, and we shouldn't have duplication. This amendment would see us to that goal. 63 of us voted for this amendment last year. Let's get 63 votes and more.
Senator from Connecticut.
I thank the chair. Mr. President, respectfully oppose the amendment put in by my two friends. This would amend the Senate rules to make it out of order for the Senate to proceed to any bill or joint resolution unless the Committee of Jurisdiction has posted on its website a CRS analysis of whether the bill would create a new program, office, or initiative that duplicates or overlaps an existing one. So it sounds pretty good on the surface. Two problems. One is that CRS tells us it would be hard-pressed to carry out this responsibility, certainly in a timely manner. And the second results from the first, which is that this would mean that another way to slow up legislation because it did not have yet the CRS analysis. A final point is this. The committees of jurisdiction ought to be making their own judgment and probably know better than CRS whether they're creating a new program that duplicates or overlaps an existing one. So respectfully, I would urge a no vote.
Mr. President, I'd ask unanimous consent for an additional 30 seconds.
Senator from Oklahoma.
I have the greatest respect for my chairman on Homeland Security. I love him dearly. GAO has already told us that we're not doing our job. The first third of the federal government showed $100 billion worth of duplication. The second study's coming. CRS will have this easy because GAO will have already showed them where all the duplication is.
Question is on the amendment. Yeas and nays have been called for. Second. There appears to be. This amendment does require a two-thirds threshold, and the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka, Mr. Alexander, Ms. Ayotte, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Baucus, Mr. Begich, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bingaman. Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blunt. Mr. Bozeman.
I can't tell you. You're better than any class pages at this point. Huh? On day, what day is this? On day 4. This is the best day 4 group.
Mrs. Boxer. Mr. Brown in Massachusetts. Aye. Mr. Brown of Ohio. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell. Mr. Cardin, Mr. Carper, Mr. Casey, Mr. Chambliss, Mr. Coates, Mr. Coburn, Mr. Cochran, Ms. Collins, Mr. Conrad, Mr. Coons, Mr. Corker, Mr. Cornyn, Mr. Crapo, Mr. DeMint, Mr. Durbin, Mr. Enzi, Mrs. Feinstein, Mr. Franken, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham. Yes. Mr. Grassley. Mrs. Hagan. Mr. Harkin. Mr. Hatch. Mr. Heller. Mr. Hoven. Mrs. Hutchison. Mr. Inouye. Mr. Isaacson, Mr. Johans, Mr. Johnson of Wisconsin, Mr. Johnson of South Dakota. Mr. Kerry. Mr. Kirk. Ms. Klobuchar. Mr. Cole. Mr. Kyle. Ms. Landrieu. Mr. Lautenberg. Mr. Leahy. Mr. Lee. Mr. Levin. Mr. Lieberman. Mr. Lugar. Mr. Manchin. Mr. McCain. Mrs. McCaskill.
Get it to her.
I will. Love it.
Mr. McConnell. Mr. Menendez. Mr. Merkley. Ms. Mikulski. Mr. Moran. Ms. Murkowski. Mrs. Murray. Mr. Nelson of Nebraska. Mr. Nelson of Florida. Mr. Paul. Mr. Portman. Mr. Pryor. Mr. Reed of Rhode Island. Mr. Reed of Nevada. Mr. Risch. Mr. Roberts. Mr. Rockefeller. Mr. Rubio. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Schumer. Mr. Sessions. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Shelby. Ms. Snow. Ms. Stabenow. Mr. Tester. Mr. Thune. Mr. Toomey. Mr. Udall, Colorado. Mr. Udall of New Mexico. Mr. Vitter, Mr. Warner, Mr. Webb, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Senators voting in the affirmative: Alexander, Ayotte, Barrasso, Begich, Bennett, Blunt, Bozeman, Brown of Massachusetts, Burr, Casey, Chambliss, Coates, Coburn, Cochran, Collins, Cornyn, Crapo, DeMint, Enzi, Graham, Grassley, Heller, Hoeven, Inhofe, Isaacson, Johans, Johnson of Wisconsin, Klobuchar, Kyle, Lee, Lugar, Manchin, McCain, McCaskill, McConnell, Merkley, Moran, Murkowski, Nelson of Nebraska, Nelson of Florida, Hall, Portman, Pryor, Risch, Roberts, Rubio, Sessions, Shelby, Stabenow, Tester, Thune, Toomey, Udall of Colorado, Vitter, Warner, Wicker. Ms. Snow, aye. Mr. Corker, aye. Senators voting in the negative: Akaka, Baucus, Bingaman, Blumenthal, Boxer, Brown of Ohio, Cantwell, Cardin, Carper, Conrad, Coons, Durbin, Feinstein, Franken, Gillibrand, Hagan, Harkin, Inouye, Johnson of South Dakota, Cole, Landrieu, Lautenberg, Leahy, Levin, Lieberman, Menendez, Mikulski, Murray, Reed of Rhode Island, Reed of Nevada, Rockefeller, Sanders, Shaheen, Webb, Whitehouse, Wyden. Mrs. Hutchison, aye. Mr. Udall of New Mexico. Mr. Udall of New Mexico, no. Mr. Schumer, no. Hatch. Mr. Hatch, aye. Mr. Kerry. Mr. Kerry, no.
On this vote, the yeas are 60, the nays are 39. Two-thirds of the senators voting, having voted in the affirmative, the amendment is not agreed to.
President,
Senator from Connecticut.
I move to reconsider and lay the matter on the table.
Without objection. Under the previous order, there will be 2 minutes of debate, equally divided, prior to a vote in relation to amendment number 1488, offered by the senator from South Carolina, Mr. DeMint. This amendment is subject to a 60-vote threshold.
Mr. President,
Senator from South Carolina.
thank you, Mr. President. It's unfortunate that the actions of a few make it necessary for us to create more rules for the many honest people that serve in Congress. But we must reassure Americans that we're here to serve them and not ourselves. Congressmen and senators have lots of power, and we know that power corrupts. The longer we stay in office, the more power we have. And unfortunately, we've seen that that power over a period of time creates more opportunity and temptation for us to benefit ourselves rather than our constituents. All of the cases of corruption and bribery that I've seen, unfortunately, come from more senior members. No offense to my senior members, please. But this is just one of many reasons why we should have term limits in Congress. My amendment is not a statute. It's just a sense of the Senate that says that we should have some form of constitutional limit on our terms.
Senator, be in order.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, we're not specific in the number of years, the number of terms, but it's just a sense of the Senate that we should have some limit on the amount of time that we serve. I'd encourage my colleagues to at least support this and get the debate started. Thank you, and I yield back.
Mr. President.
Senator from Illinois.
Mr. President, for some members of Congress, 2 years in office is too long, and for some members of Congress, 20 years in office is not long enough. Who should make that decision? The Constitution in its wisdom says the voters of America make that decision. Let's stand by that Constitution and its language and defeat this sense of the Senate resolution.
Question is on the amendment. Is there a sufficient second? There is a sufficient second. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka, Mr. Alexander, Ms. Ayotte, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Baucus, Mr. Beckidge, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Bingaman, Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blunt. Mr. Bozeman.
I had a 60-vote threshold in that. I've got 60 on the rest of them.
Oh, yeah, 60 on the rest. Copeland's the only one that actually mentioned
Mrs. Boxer. Mr. Brown in Massachusetts. Mr. Brown of Ohio. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell. Mr. Cardin. Mr. Carper. Mr. Casey. Mr. Chambliss. Mr. Coates. Mr. Coburn.
Down here. Oh. Yes.
What?
I don't think let me call around and see if we're putting it in there.
Mr. Cochran. Ms. Collins. Mr. Conrad. Mr. Coons. Mr. Corker. Mr. Cornyn. Mr. Crapo.
It could be construed that way, but I wouldn't affirm it as in other words, I wouldn't have the chair say.
Maybe he did.
And then if they wanted
Mr. DeMint.
that's when it would come.
Mr. Durbin. Mr. Enzi, Mrs. Feinstein. Mrs. Feinstein. Mr. Franken. Mrs. Gillibrand. Mr. Graham. Mr. Grassley. Mrs. Hagan. Mr. Harkin. Mr. Hatch. Mr. Heller. Mr. Hoven. Mrs. Hutchison. Mr. Inhofe. Mr. Noe. Mr. Isaacson. Mr. Johans. Mr. Johnson of Wisconsin. Mr. Johnson, South Dakota. Mr. Carey. Mr. Kirk. Ms. Klobuchar. Mr. Cole. Mr. Kyle. Ms. Landrieu. Mr. Lautenberg. Mr. Leahy. Mr. Lee. Mr. Levin. Mr. Lieberman. Mr. Lugar. Mr. Manchin. Mr. McCain. Mrs. McCaskill. Mr. McConnell. Mr. Menendez. Mr. Merkley. Ms. Mikulski. Mr. Moran. Ms. Murkowski. Mrs. Murray. Mr. Nelson, Nebraska. Mr. Nelson of Florida. Mr. Paul. Mr. Portman. Mr. Pryor. Mr. Reed of Rhode Island. Mr. Reed of Nevada. Mr. Risch. Mr. Roberts. Mr. Rockefeller. Mr. Rubio. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Schumer. Mr. Sessions. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Shelby. Ms. Snow. Ms. Stabenow. Mr. Tester. Mr. Thune. Mr. Toomey. Mr. Udall of Colorado. Mr. Udall of New Mexico. Mr. Vitter. Mr. Warner. Mr. Webb. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Wicker. Mr. Wyden. Senators voting in the affirmative: Ayotte, Blunt, Bozeman, Brown in Massachusetts, Coburn, DeMint, Graham, Grassley, Hatch, Heller, Johans, Johnson, Wisconsin, Lee, Manchin, Moran, Paul, Rubio, Sessions, Thune, Toomey, and Vitter. senators voting in the negative: Akaka, Alexander, Barrasso, Baucus, Bekich, Bingaman, Blumenthal, Boxer, Brown of Ohio, Burr, Cantwell, Cardin, Casey, Chambliss, Coates, Cochran, Collins, Conrad, Coons, Cornyn, Crapo, Durbin, Enzi, Gillibrand, Hagan, Harkin, Hoeven, Inhofe, Inouye, Isaacson, Johnson of South Dakota, Kerry, Klobuchar, Cole, Kyle, Landrieu, Lautenberg, Leahy, Levin, Lieberman, Lugar, McCain, McCaskill, McConnell, Menendez, Merkley, Mikulski, Murray, Nelson, Nebraska, Nelson of Florida, Pryor, Reed of Rhode Island, Risch, Roberts, Sanders, Shaheen, Shelby, Snow, Stabenow, Tester, Udall of Colorado, Warner, Webb, Whitehouse, Wicker, and Wyden. Mrs. Feinstein, no. Mrs. Hutchison, aye. Mr. Rockefeller, no. Mr. Portman, aye. Mr. Corker? Mr. Corker, aye. Mr. Udall of New Mexico, no. Mr. Reed of Nevada, no. Mr. Bennett, no. Mr. Schumer? Mr. Schumer, no. Ms. Murkowski, no. Mr. Franken, no. Mr. Carper, no.
On this vote, the yeas are 24, the nays are 75. Under the previous order requiring 60 votes for the adoption of this amendment, the amendment is not agreed to.
I get a report too, then I go back to sleep.
Under the previous order, there will be 2 minutes of debate equally divided prior to a vote in relation to amendment number 1493, offered by the senator from Iowa, Mr. Grassley. This amendment is subject to a 60-vote threshold.
Mr. President.
Senator will be in order.
Mr. President.
Senator from Iowa.
This is a good government amendment, just like the underlying piece of legislation is a good government amendment. Now, the manager is going to tell you it ought to be studied a little bit longer. But we've gone on far enough not having enough transparency in government. So what my amendment does, it takes these people that you call political intelligence professionals and have them registered just like every lobbyist registers, so it's totally transparent, so when these people come around to get information from you that they sell to hedge funds, that you'll know who they are. You don't know that now. And transparency in government is very important if you want accountability. And for us senators and our staffs that have to abide by these laws, and you want to make sure you aren't doing anything unethical, you got to know who these people are. And they can come around and ask you questions. I don't know how many times maybe each of us have been caught up in this. You give them some information. They've got information that people don't have on Wall Street, and they sell it, and you ought to know what you're being used for. And this gives identity to these people. So
Senator's time has expired.
Registered like lobbyists.
Senator from Connecticut.
Mr. President, there may be a problem here, but this amendment doesn't fix it. In the bill before the committee, there was a provision to bring so-called political intelligence under the Lobbying Disclosure Act. And political intelligence is defined as information which is intended for use in analyzing securities or commodity markets or informing investment decisions. But what does that mean? Does it apply to a retailer who wants to open new stores and calls the Armed Services Committee to see whether there's a base that's going to be built in a particular neighborhood? Some would say yes, some would say no. Violation of the Lobbying Disclosure Act carries civil and criminal penalties. We just felt we wanted to get the anti-insider trading provision out quickly and study this more. The bill calls for a GAO study. I've said, Senator Collins and I have announced that we're going to hold a hearing on this question. We need a little more time to do it thoughtfully because we're ultimately dealing with First Amendment rights here, and we ought not to legislate until we're prepared to do so in a reasoned way. So I ask my colleagues to oppose this amendment.
Mr. President, do I have time to tell people not to vote for Wall Street, vote for my amendment?
There's no time left, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, please, Nate.
Is there a sufficient second? There is. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka. Mr. Alexander. Ms. Ayotte. Mr. Barrasso.
I'm having a hard time. But that one, we almost had to cut you off right now. You don't want to vote anyway.
Mr. Balkus. Mr. Begich. Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bingaman. Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blunt. Mr. Bozeman. Mrs. Boxer. Happy hour, sir. Mr. Brown of Massachusetts. Mr. Brown of Ohio. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell. Mr. Cardin. Mr. Carper. Mr. Casey. Mr. Chambliss. Mr. Coates. Mr. Coburn. Mr. Cochran. No. Ms. Collins. Mr. Conrad. Thank you. Mr. Coons. Mr. Corker. Mr. Cornyn. Mr. Crapo. Mr. DeMint. Mr. Durbin. Mr. Enzi. Mrs. Feinstein. Mr. Franken. Mrs. Gillibrand. Mr. Graham. Mr. Grassley. Mrs. Hagan. Mr. Harkin. Mr. Hatch. Mr. Heller. Mr. Hoven. Mrs. Hutchison. Mr. Inhofe. Mr. Inouye. Mr. Isaacson. Mr. Johans.
Mr. Mark outside. Excuse me. Yes.
Mr. Johnson of Wisconsin. Mr. Johnson of South Dakota. Mr. Kerry. Mr. Kirk.
Well, that's what they want. How many times have you I suppose
All these hedge funds have guys come down and collect it.
you don't want I suspect
Ms. Klobuchar. Mr. Cole. Mr. Kyle. Ms. Landrieu.
Thank you.
Mr. Lautenberg. Mr. Leahy. Mr. Lee. Mr. Levin. Mr. Lieberman. Mr. Lugar. Mr. Manchin. Mr. McCain. Mrs. McCaskill. Mr. McConnell.
Russell, aye.
Mr. McConnell, Mr. Menendez, Mr. Merkley, Ms. Mikulski, Mr. Moran, Ms. Murkowski, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Nelson of Nebraska, Mr. Nelson of Florida, Mr. Paul, Mr. Portman, Mr. Pryor, Mr. Reed of Rhode Island, Mr. Reed of Nevada, Mr. Risch, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Rockefeller, Mr. Rubio, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Sessions, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Shelby, Ms. Snow, Ms. Stabenow, Mr. Tester, Mr. Thune, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Udall, Colorado, Mr. Udall of New Mexico, Mr. Vitter, Mr. Warner, Mr. Webb, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Senators voting in the affirmative: Ayotte, Barrasso, Blunt, Bozeman, Brown of Ohio, Cardin, Carper, Casey, Chambliss, Coburn, Corker, DeMint, Enzi, Franken, Gillibrand, Graham, Grassley, Hatch, Hoeven, Hutchison, Inhofe, Isaacson, Johnson of Wisconsin, Klobuchar, Leahy, Lugar, Manchin, McCain, McCaskill, Menendez, Merkley, Moran, Murkowski, Hall, Portman, Rubio, Sanders, Stabenow, Tester, Thune, Udall of Colorado, Wicker, Wyden. Mr. Begich, aye. Senators voting in the negative: Akaka, Alexander, Baucus, Blumenthal, Boxer, Brown of Massachusetts, Burr, Cochran, Collins, Conrad, Coons, Crapo, Durbin, Hagan, Harkin, Inouye, Johans, Johnson of South Dakota, Kyle, Landrieu, Lee, Levin, Lieberman, McConnell, Murray, Nelson of Nebraska, Reed of Nevada, Risch, Rockefeller, Toomey, Vitter, Webb. Mrs. Shaheen, no. Mr. Heller, aye. Mr. Whitehouse, aye. Mr. Kerry, aye. Ms. Mikulski, no. Mr. Sessions, aye. Ms. Snow, aye. Mr. Bennett, aye. Mr. Roberts, aye. Mr. Warner, no. Mr. Udall of New Mexico, no. Mr. Bingaman, no. Mr. Shelby, aye. Mr. Coates. Mr. Coates, aye. Ms. Cantwell. Ms. Cantwell, aye. Mr. Lautenberg. Mr. Lautenberg, aye. Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole, aye. Mr. Reed, Rhode Island. Mr. Reed of Rhode Island, aye. Mr. Nelson of Florida. Mr. Nelson of Florida, aye. Mrs. Feinstein. Mrs. Feinstein, aye. Mrs. Murray. Mrs. Murray, aye. Mr. Pryor. Mr. Pryor, no. Mr. Schumer. Mr. Schumer, no.
There, here's one.
Mr. Cornyn. Mr. Cornyn, no. Okay.
Are there any senators wishing to vote or change their vote?
What's the number again?